Which brings us to the Indus Waters Treaty. As you know, India suspended it after the Pahalgam attack. New Delhi used the term abeyance. That means pause or suspension. Now, there's a stoppage in firing, but the treaty still remains in abeyance. Why? Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi made the reason clear yesterday.
पाकिस्तान को अगर बचना है तो उसे अपने टेरर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का सफाया करना ही होगा। इसके अलावा शांति का कोई रास्ता नहीं है। भारत का मत एकदम स्पष्ट है। टेरर और टॉक एक साथ नहीं हो सकते। टेरर और ट्रेड एक साथ नहीं चल सकते और पानी और खून भी एक साथ नहीं बह सकता।
Water and blood cannot flow together. That is India's position. And what does Pakistan have to say? Well, Islamabad is calling it an act of war. Their Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said it then, and their Foreign Minister is repeating it now. Ishaq Dar went on CNN, the American channel. He talked about the stoppage in firing and he said it could collapse if the Indus Waters issue is not resolved.
If this Indus Water Treaty is tampered with, if the water is diverted, if the water is stopped, we'll treat it as an act of war.
Well, here's a reality check for the minister. It is already happening. On May 5th, parts of the Chenab flowing towards Pakistan dried up. That is because India halted the controlled release of water from its dams. It started with the Baglihar Dam on the Chenab River. Last week, India also closed the gates of the Salal Dam. Reports suggest it was to store water in the reservoirs. But this stoppage means one thing. Chenab was running dry. New Delhi has other options too. It can fast-track infrastructure on the western rivers. It can set up hydroelectric projects. It can build storage dams. It can stop sharing data with Pakistan. And all of it is very, very crucial. You see, 6 rivers are part of the Indus water system. After partition, India and Pakistan decided to share them. Most of the origin points were in India. That's where the Indus Waters Treaty comes in. It laid down a clear framework for water sharing. And here's how it works. The 6 rivers were divided between the 2 countries. The eastern rivers were allocated to India. These were Ravi, Beas and Satluj. India has exclusive rights to their waters. The western rivers were allocated to Pakistan, Indus, Chenab and Jhelum. India still has limited rights over these rivers. It can use their water sometimes, but it cannot divert or store the water from these 3 rivers. The flow to Pakistan must remain uninterrupted. But that has changed now.
I would also like to take you back a little. The IWT, the Indus Water Treaty, was concluded in the spirit of goodwill and friendship as specified in the preamble of the treaty. However, Pakistan has held these principles in abeyance by its promotion of cross-border terrorism for several decades now. Now, as per CCS decision that I referred to of 23rd April, India will keep the treaty in abeyance until Pakistan credibly and irrevocably abjures its support for cross-border terrorism.
And this has left Islamabad jittery. After all, these rivers are a lifeline for Pakistan. They need this water for irrigation and also to meet their daily needs. This should explain the saber rattling now. But India has had enough. For 6 decades, the Indus Waters Treaty withstood everything, 4 wars, multiple terror attacks, but that line has now been crossed. The Pahalgam attack was the proverbial last straw. Islamabad can call it an act of war, it can call it a massive breach, it can call it whatever it wants to, but India sees it as an act of restraint. Because, let's be clear, New Delhi has not walked away from it. We have merely held it in abeyance, and here's the uncomfortable truth. Pakistan needs this treaty more than India does. So what happens now? Well, that depends on what happens in Pakistan. If Islamabad takes real steps against terrorism, there may be a path back to the table. But Pakistan has to make that choice. Will it be peace or provocation? Because this time India has drawn a clear red line. Water and blood cannot flow together, not anymore. At Firstpost, we are choosing to hold on to accuracy. That means we won't always be first. We may not get you your breaking alert. But what you will get is what we owe you. And that is the truth. Verified, checked and cross-checked. We rely on sources and verified ones. After all, that's what separates a journalist from a loudspeaker. But sometimes even we miss a beat. And when we do, we will tell you. Like yesterday, we ran visuals from a registered news agency. That visual turned out to be fake. So we are taking accountability. And from now on, we will cite the source of every visual, every picture, every video that you see on Firstpost will have a source mentioned. That is our commitment to you. We will wait, we will verify, we will ask again, and only then will we tell you. No noise, no panic, just the facts. Because right now, that is what the country needs most.